Welcome to this week's episode of Stream Squad. As usual, I'm Angela, and I'm here with Nick, and Dan is behind the camera.
Hello. I am here. Hi. How is everybody doing today?
Doing good.
I'm good. If you're watching, jump in the comments, tell us where you're from, say hi, and let's get to it.
Yeah.
So what's up first?
So for our industry news, the first big news that broke yesterday, on Twitter, everyone now has access to 280 characters. So for any other Twitter users out there, it's been limited since the beginning to 140 characters. Their big thing was, short, concise statements to make the news feed easier. But over time, they've been teasing that they might put longer character limits out there. About a month ago, they rolled this out to a few users to see how it would work. And as of yesterday, the new update gives that ability to everyone. So you can now write double the length on Twitter. It's going to be interesting to see what people do with longer tweets at this point. I've just been seeing people posting text from books to be silly so
see
far.
How long they can go.
Yeah. The other interesting thing is normally on Twitter in the past, it would start with 140 down at the bottom, and as you type, that number gets smaller and smaller, so you know how many characters you have left. Now, instead of a number, it's a circle, and the more you type, the more the circle fills up with blue, just going clockwise.
Can you do it, Nick? I think we have a screen share. Hold on,
Yeah.
let me set up the screen. Wait, keep talking before we do it. I want to set up the split screen. Hold on, don't do it yet.
Welcome
we're gonna show...
oh, wow. So it's down here by the reply button.
Yeah. Twitter in action.
Don't do it yet. I'm not ready.
Well, it's going to take me a while.
It's going to take a little bit for Nick to type it all out.
This is a story about the internet. I don't know. I don't know how to talk and write at the same time.
Just narration.
All right, you're
up.
up. We got a split screen up there. So
the world. What happens on the internet? Story about the internet where cats rule the world.
And memes are everywhere.
Memes are...
Man, we are in a weird mood today.
Giphy is cool. You know what? There's a circle down here. It keeps getting smaller.
Just start hitting space a bunch.
Space.
Just fill it all up. So
Oh,
while
it's
Nick's
that
doing
much.
that, there's still more to play around with. I know in the past when new features have rolled out, they've only been available one place and not another. So if you're doing quote tweet replies, for instance, I'm not sure if that's already up to the 240 or if that's still limited to 280 or if it's limited to 140. Otherwise, that's going to be a very long quote tweet post. But everyone seems to be really excited about this. I haven't seen any backlash really from anyone on Twitter. And for people like me who always would go over by one or two characters and have to commit some grammatical atrocities pretty much, it's going to help with that tremendously.
We just went over. Oh, I'm getting a phone call.
No.
Say hi to John.
Hi, John.
Nah, it actually dropped. So
we hit the limit there. So after we went over the character limit, it turned to an orange circle and started showing the number that you're over.
Nice.
A lot of nonsensical typing there, but I promised I was listening. Were they able to see that on the stream, Dan?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, we had it up there.
I'll get this going for you again in a second. I think too with Twitter and the new character limit, do we know if that includes URLs? Is there still a need to go through URL shorteners, or is that omitted from the character count?
As of a few updates ago, Twitter's automatically shortening the URL,
Okay.
so that should
that's
hold in
cool.
place. I haven't tried it yet, but how in the past you'd have to do like a bit.ly to shorten a link. Now, well, at least before this update, whenever you would drop a link in, it will automatically do that. It would show the link in full still so that users could see what the URL was, but it would treat it as the shortened amount of characters. So I'm assuming with 280, they're probably keeping it the same. If not, even with that URL, you still got a lot more text that you can put on the screen.
Very cool. I think also with Twitter, they've recently rolled out a program where you can subscribe to have your posts amplified or shown as ads. I think it's $100 a month.
Yeah.
We need to get more details on this. Joel Com, I think, just signed up for the program and is trying it out, and I think it's available to everyone as well. So there's kind of a business paid advertising tier for Twitter where you can get more exposure by subscribing for that service. So that might be something to check out as well. Dan, I think I got screen sharing going here for you again. If you decide you need that.
Okay. I might need that later on.
All right.
Sweet. So next up, you guys might remember Chewbacca Mom from, it was about a year ago at this point, wasn't it?
All right, hold on. Before we get to that,
little backstory. I guess Facebook Live, it's been a year and a half or so since it was first available to the public. Prior to that, live video was available to celebrities within the Facebook Mentions app. Robert Scoble was one of the first to get to use that feature. And when Facebook Live was made available to the public, where anyone from the Facebook app could go live, no one really knew what to do with it initially. Do you stream video of your friends, your family? Is it stuff for businesses? Is it events? I think we're all still learning and figuring this part out. But one of the first most successful Facebook Live videos was from Candace Payne. And she had purchased a Star Wars Chewbacca mask that makes the Wookiee sound. I'm not even going to attempt because I can't do it. And as she was in her car unboxing it, she did a live broadcast and was talking through it. And just super energetic, fun person. And it's got a really great laugh. And it was one of the first viral live videos on Facebook. So I think Dan's got a clip from the original Chewbacca Mom.
Do I?
It was also uploaded on YouTube later, but it had millions of views within days. It was talked about in news cycles, in Good Morning America. Facebook took her to their campus, and there's pictures of Candace Payne on bicycles with actual Chewbaccas. Not actual, but they're probably people in costumes. And she's gone on to go to Comic-Cons and events and work with Hasbro, and is now writing her own book that recently came out. So really cool to see where she's gone and what's happened since that first kind of splash. The idea of doing a video and hitting it big that's really hard to come by. A lot of businesses and even YouTube creators really have to work at it, and it's creating content consistently and having a message and building your audience, and through doing those kinds of things you can have a lot of success. But Candace Payne hit it big right from the beginning, and she's been doing cool stuff ever since. So Angela, I don't know if there's anything you want to add to that.
Yeah, so
I would like to add something to that, if that's okay. Nick had mentioned Chewbacca Mom one day in the office, and everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, Chewbacca Mom!" And I'm sitting here like, who is this person? I had never seen it. Is it just me? Do you all know what this is? Or like, is this the first time you're hearing about it too?
Also, if you aren't able to show it on the stream, let's see if we can grab the link and we'll put it in the comments for people to check out later.
Yeah. So just adding on to that, her new book that just came out, it's appropriately titled Laugh It Up. And what she's done is, since, as Nick put it, she just hit it big randomly. She wasn't trying to be a viral star or anything like that. And since then, she's kind of had this whirlwind success with Hasbro and Facebook. So she's written a memoir just explaining who she is, who her family is, kind of what her life was, what told her to just make this Facebook video one day. And then since then, her experience with getting used to this level of, celebrity, of having everything shifted just overnight, especially with something that she wasn't setting out to do initially. So it sounds like a really good book to read. She's got it available on a lot of different platforms. We also found out shortly from before this broadcast, she recorded a song over the summer that's a cover of a Michael Jackson song. And there's a charity called Convoy of Hope that we've shown a few times on this broadcast. They got a hold of it, put her song on iTunes, and actually charted at number 30. So feel free to check out her singing as well. It sounds like she's doing a lot of charitable work on top of, promoting Chewbacca.
And she's sticking with live video. If you look for Candace Payne on Facebook, she's doing a weekly broadcast, and just a great personality, a really fun person. She's an awesome mom. She also does some comedy on the side, and she's got this great book and great story to tell. So
I think
look her up.
Yeah, I think one of the big takeaways is that you don't have to be some crazy superstar or something, to have fun doing live video. I mean, she wasn't, I don't think, expecting this to blow up as much as it did, but it did, and we're happy for her, and I think it's a really cool story. But yeah, I think the big takeaway is, don't be afraid to go do live video, even if it is just, I don't know,
sharing your day. I mean, that's what she was doing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, cool stuff. Again, check out Candace Payne. We'll see if we can get a link to that original video in the comments, and maybe grab the URL for her Facebook page. But she's doing some cool stuff.
So the last thing we have for industry news is about Facebook video, live video, and the recommended link for Facebook. So, a lot of things go into how Facebook does what it does, how it promotes what it promotes, and everyone's trying to find this special algorithm to get their video linked out there.
It also changes all the time.
Yeah.
And
once you figure it out, it's not the same.
We can't tell you Facebook is doing X because one day it might be different.
Yeah.
But I think there's this ongoing conversation about how long should a video be? Like, what's the right format for live? And if it's an event, an athletic event, a press conference, these are things that we book and we put on our calendar, and they have a start time and they have an end time. And because people are driving and taking a part of their day, we make it worth their time. And they end up being an hour, 3 hours long. And I think a lot of live video that we've seen traditionally has kind of been this format. But now that Facebook Live is out there and it's free, and there's so many ways to create content and put it up, there's new formats that are popping up, and people are streaming behind the scenes and Q&A and selling products and talking to customers and talking to each other. And there's, I guess, kind of a big question mark on what exactly is live video and how long should it be. So when I was at Vid Summit a few weeks ago, I ran into Mike Stetzler. He organizes Social Media Marketing World and runs Social Media Examiner, which is a really great resource to learn more about what's happening in the industry. There were some things happening on Facebook that day, and he did a 90-second video. He just went live and said, "Is anybody else seeing this, or what's your feedback? Are you having problems?" And Joel Kahn was there also, and he said, "Why did you do that live? Like, live video is long. If it's 30 seconds, just record it and put it up later." And so it's a completely open dialogue. We see videos that run for hours. We see videos that are less than a minute. How long should your video be? And I don't know that there's really a 100% bulletproof answer, but some of the things that we're seeing and some of the information that's coming out, looking at the data, as people start broadcasting and people are sharing and commenting, and it gets more exposure in the news feed, while you are live, within the 15 to 18 minute mark is when most broadcasts see peak concurrent viewership. So it's not saying get to 15, 18 minutes and cut it off, but in a lot of cases that's how long it takes to build your audience and to let kind of the social sharing piece really kick in, where you have the most eyeballs at the same time. And so you probably, if you're thinking about your content in this way, or you're doing a new type of format or video, you probably don't want to stop when you get to that point. And you don't want to stall at the beginning, because people going back and watching the replay aren't going to stick around for 3 or 4 minutes while you're just hanging out waiting for people to tune in. So this is something that's an ongoing topic, and I don't know that there's any one
What's
answer.
your take then, Nick? What do you think is the perfect number for how long videos? I hope it's like 20 to 30 minutes, because that's how long our videos are.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good to have a format and a plan going into it, and to hit the ground running. Kick things off right from the get-go. Be sure to repeat yourself for people that maybe aren't tuned in from the beginning but are coming in the middle of the stream. So for those of you just now tuning in, this is Stream Squad, part of Switcher Studios' weekly broadcast, and we talk about industry strategy and how people are using our product to create live video. But I think 20, 30 minutes is a really great format. It doesn't take a big chunk out of your day. And if you give it some thought and planning going into it, it can be really valuable for you, your organization, and the people that are watching. So that was a long-winded version of what's going on there. But yeah, let us know in the comments what you all think. And is there anything else you all want to talk about on this
Dave
today?
O came into the comments and was saying that the default following has changed for Facebook. Like, when you like a page, the default for live video is off, actually. So you can actually go in and request and to be notified when that person goes live.
That's a good point,
which
too.
I have seen that, yeah.
Just because you follow a page doesn't mean that you want to see everything that they do or all of their activities. So there are separate notification tools available for live video, and that's something you might want to remind your audience or walk them through, just to make sure that they're seeing that content if that's something that they're signing up for.
Yeah, that's something that I've seen even on, the cover photo of some pages. They'll have just a little sticker they put on with Photoshop that says make sure to turn your notifications on. They might have just a tiny little screenshot of what it looks like to switch them on. As Nick mentioned, you don't get notified from every page that you have liked on Facebook when they go live for their videos. So if there's a page you really like the content they're creating as a whole, there's an option to turn all notifications on. If you just kind of want to know when they're going live, there's also a notification in there for notify me for live videos. And that means the second someone goes live, you'll get notified on your phone or on the browser, and that way you won't realize you've missed like 3 videos just by not knowing it. And if you're just getting started, make sure to let your audience know that as well. We have a lot of new users who will mention, hey, sometimes people aren't getting notified, it's kind of randomized. Don't be afraid to let them know if you like this video, make sure to turn your notifications on. You'll know the next time I'm live, and that's going to help you get more and more viewers for your videos.
So everyone out there, if you like this video, don't forget to turn notifications on.
Also, share. The more activity that happens during a broadcast, the more visibility it's going to get. Comments are great, and we'd love to hear what you think about this program, what we're talking about, if you have questions, and if there's any that we don't answer live, we'll always tune in afterwards and make sure we follow up on those. So don't be afraid to ask questions. Again, I think the big takeaway here, one of the ongoing questions is how long should your Facebook video be? And I don't know that there's really one answer. If you think there's an opportunity to go live, even if it's just for a few minutes, don't be afraid to pull out your camera. If there's an event, why not set a camera up? And if you can put the time into planning content and thinking strategically about what you're doing, a 15 to 30 minute program is well worth the effort that it takes to start producing that video. And it's going to be expected. I think more and more businesses are going to have to create video to stay relevant, and you're going to want it to look good because there's also a lot of noise out there. So I think that's a good wrap. We'll be doing a post on this. You can check out the Switcher Studio blog, and we'll be doing a full report on what we're learning about this topic.
So what's next, Angela?
So next we're moving on to our strategy piece for this week. And this, speaking of Twitter, this is going to help out a lot with people tweeting it, but promoting your broadcast on social media before you go live is a great way to make sure you've got that viewer count higher. And it's something that a lot of people don't do. If you just go live randomly, people will want to watch it, but a lot of times they're busy. They're doing something else. They didn't plan on watching your video right then, and then they have to try to watch it later. If you have alerted people on your Facebook, your Twitter, any social media platform you have, that you'll be live on this date at this time, just how we have it set Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 Pacific, people can plan their day around that. If they want to watch your live video, they'll know going into their day, hey, I need to be free at this time to watch this video. And especially if you've got a good following on social media, you've got dedicated viewers on social media, let them know, even if it's 5-10 minutes in advance, if it's kind of a sudden video, hey, I'm going to go live soon. And that gives them time to get somewhere where they can watch your video.
Something else we've seen with social that's been really successful is using it as an opportunity to get information before your broadcast. If there's a topic or something that you plan on discussing, open it up. Open up the dialogue and get feedback from people, get links, get pictures, get that content that you can include in your broadcast. Brittlestar, one of our favorite Switcher users, they do a Fridge Friday session, and they show pictures from their users, and those are coming in from different places ahead of time, through email, through Facebook, through Twitter, and some of those they get on the fly, but use social as an opportunity to build content to use for your broadcast. Also, your audience might be in different places, and just because you're going live on Facebook and it's going to be notified and shared there, there might be someone that's interested in you, your company, your brand, your organization, that's more active on Twitter in their day-to-day use, or on YouTube, or on LinkedIn, or another platform. So sending those notifications and asking those questions across your social channels is going to have a bigger impact on driving them to whichever platform you choose to broadcast. I know one topic we hear a lot with Switcher is, I want to be everywhere. I want my broadcast to be on all these channels so that everyone can watch wherever they are. And I think there's a lot of benefits to that, especially for larger brands and really planned events where you can promote it leading up to it. But I think there's also some drawbacks in that if you're just starting, or you have a format that you're doing, by taking that one video and putting it on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube or Twitch, or you name it, there's a ton of places you could send it. You're really spreading your audience out, and the conversation is happening in different places. And if you're not engaging with those viewers while they're listening or watching what you're talking about, they're going to be less likely to stick around and see the whole message. So picking one platform to really go all in on, and using social as a way to notify people and push them back to where you're producing your content can be really helpful. And then also using social as a way to pull out highlights from the content that you're producing. We talked about live video being long format, and 15 to 30 minutes being a kind of a new form of video that we're seeing with social and live. Not everyone is going to be able to take that whole period of time to watch everything that you have to say, and there might be some high-level highlights that you can pull out and share across social afterwards and push people back to the whole content if they want to see the replay or the recording of your live video. So I don't know, a lot of information there, and a lot of these have their own punch lists and extra steps to really dive in and use them effectively. But just because you're live on Facebook, don't be afraid to share it out other places. Use it to ask questions, get information from people, or pull out clips and highlights to share what you're doing after the fact.
So, you just mentioned the Fridge Friday. I haven't been able to catch one of Brittle Star's Friday broadcasts, but you all have talked. I've heard Fridge Friday be brought up before, and I didn't get they're showing pictures that they pin up on their fridge until you just said it. I kept on thinking they're showing what's in their fridge or something. I had no idea what it was.
If you're still using Periscope, search hashtag show me your fridge. There's a whole channel of just really weird video.
Really?
You can see what are in people's fridges. It's a weird thing that's still happening.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Live video, it's the Wild West. And talk about micro channels. That's a weird one. But one of the other things we like to talk about each week are things that we see in the user group. If you're using Switcher to create content, or if you're on the trial, be sure to log into your account at switcherstudio.com and join the user group. It's a really great resource where you can talk to other people in the community that are using our platform, that are creating content, asking questions, and helping one another. And through that, we saw some things that came up with the new iOS 11 update regarding accessibility options that in some ways affected Switcher and some other apps as well. So Dan, I can get screen sharing going here again on my phone, and if you want to walk us through this, we can show people what we're talking about.
Sure, yeah. If you want to pull that up,
give us just a few seconds.
I can tell you as Nick's doing it. I think he's coming through here. It's a real simple thing. It had us scratching our heads for a second before we realized what was going on. But yeah, you just have to adjust the size of the.
Let's talk about accessibility in general. Also, what does that mean, and how are people using it on their devices? And so
yeah. Okay. Okay. We're still on a good shot here. So yeah, the accessibility tab. It's really there. Just it's going to be how things show up on your iPad. So if let's say you have not great sight or something, there you can have it be bigger,
bigger icons, bigger
text. And for a while, that was all that would be changed on there. Nothing would change inside of the apps. But now we've learned that with one of the, I guess it was iOS 11.1. I didn't see it with iOS 11, but with iOS 11.1, they're now allowing those options to be available inside of apps as well. And we saw where just stuff was getting thrown all over Switcher if people had the text super big. So if you are running into that problem, we can run through quickly how to fix that.
Yeah, and I think there's two things here. I want you to keep running with this, but on one hand, there are some things with iOS 11.1 and Switcher Studio that don't look quite right because we haven't had access to this resource before, and we're going to walk through how you can correct that so that it's normalized in what you're probably used to seeing when you use the software. But also, this is a really big win for developers, and it really shows how Apple is thinking about their customers and really forcing developers to adopt accessibility and make sure that their products are available and accessible to everyone. So the fix that we're going to talk about is to kind of get things back to normal for those of you that are using Switcher or might be seeing something related to the new accessibility changes. But also this is something that we'll be able to take into account through future product updates to make Switcher more accessible. So Dan, you said we want to start at the settings.
So let me go ahead and throw up your phone as a source as well. Yeah, so if you go to the settings, and then you'll scroll down a little bit and find the general there.
Okay.
And about halfway down you'll see accessibility, so you can go ahead and tap on that.
Got it.
And let's see, you see where it says larger text. That's the one we're seeing doing it. So if that's enabled, you can, as you can see quite more clearly now, all the words and letters there. That's how you would get it if you wanted a large. Now, doing that is what we've been seeing people run into issues with Switcher. So go ahead and scroll it all the way back or turn that off. Make sure that's tapped off, and now when you launch Switcher, things will be A-okay. So there's the quick fix for that. I know one of our newer, like Nick said, we'll now seeing this be able to take it into account and make sure that if that is something you want to do, you'll be able to do.
Yep.
So.
Also, one of the other things we like to do with the user group each week is to look at the videos people are sharing and share some of some good examples of people doing cool stuff. One that we've talked about before is a group that does video around automobiles and cars, and they do test drives. And they did an event recently that was a race with remote controlled cars. And it looks really cool. It's really well produced. They've got a couple different cameras. They have announcers, great graphics, and it's like if ESPN 8 The Ocho were a real thing, these guys would be on it. They're doing a really great job. So Dan, were you able to pull that up?
Yeah. So you're just seeing the logos here. Let me scroll through a little bit so you can kind of see. They've got to be using like Osmos or something, right?
It looks really good.
Yeah.
So they've got the steady cams and networking figured out.
See if we can find. Here's some racing. It wasn't like a race so much as like they were drifting, right? It wasn't like I don't know. I really liked it. Nick shared that out or sent us the stuff, and I was just like, that's super cool.
And if you want to pin that or again put it in the comments, just anyone that's watching. Check these guys out. You might be able to learn something from what they're doing or find something that you can borrow for your own productions, but it's a really well-produced video. It's done all with iPhones and iPads and using Switcher Studio, and it looks really sharp.
Go ahead, Angela.
I was going to say, and again, as Nick mentioned, we like to pull those from the user group. If you haven't joined already, whether you're thinking about using Switcher on a trial or already subscribed, definitely create an account, log into switcherstudio.com, and there's going to be a link to join the user group. We hit a milestone last week. We have over 1,000 users in the user group right now, so thank you guys so much. But it's a great option, especially if you're getting started, to see what other people are doing, to pick up on tips and tricks that they share, and to ask questions of your own, not just with how to get started, but if you're wondering, hey, is this possible? And people can give examples of what they've personally done to help you figure out how to achieve, kind of that goal that you have for your broadcast. So definitely make sure to jump into the user group. We're all in there, so you get to talk with us too, but you'll also meet really great Switcher Studio users.
And again, that you want to go to our website at www.switcherstudio.com to log into your account or create one if you haven't already. There are a few questions that you'll be prompted to on the front end to get in, and that just helps us get a better picture of how people are using the product, where they're producing their content, and ways that we can improve Switcher and make it better for you and the people that are watching your content as well. It's a really cool place, and it's a lot of fun. The user group, we just started maybe 6 months ago. It could be a little bit longer than that. But it feels like it's always been there. And there's definitely a family and community of people that have come together that are using the product and making some really cool stuff. So we just want to say thank you so much. We wouldn't be here without you, and everything we do is because of you all. We love seeing what you make. And if you have questions or you get stuck, it's a really good resource to just throw it out there and get help from that community. If for some reason you have a technical question that isn't addressed in the group, or you're not able to get a response quick enough, you can always email support@switcherstudio.com. Dan and Angela will get a hold of that, and we can bring in the rest of the team if we need to escalate it or if there's something else going on. But yeah, we're here for you. We want to make sure you're successful. And the user group's a really great resource, and if you need to email us, you can do that as well. There's also our YouTube channel and our knowledge base on the website. I think some users they start out on the app and miss out on a lot of the information on the website, from the blogs to the dashboard to just all of the supporting pieces and education that goes along with the product. And if there's something that you need help with, go to the website and search for the Help Center. There's a knowledge base in just about every question we've ever been asked. We have it documented, and we have walkthroughs on how to solve for that, or what steps to take, or other things that might be associated with it. So the knowledge base is a really great resource, and again, that's available on our website.
Speaking
at
of questions,
switcherstudio.com.
Should we answer a few?
Sure. Let's do it.
I was just scrolling through when Nick was talking there. I was scrolling through and seeing some good comments in here, or some good questions, and you might have heard me like scurrying around picking up some gear to show you one of them. Barry was asking, what is a workaround to get audio in, power in, and video out all through the lightning port since the audio jack was eliminated? So as you can actually see with my setup here, because I can answer, that's a great question.
And just to back up a minute on that, for audio, it has to come through the main device. On some of the newest models of iPhones and iPads, there's no longer a headphone jack.
Yeah. So, yeah, as you can see here on mine, I'm using an iRig Pre, which is this guy right here, and that's going into the headphone jack since this device still has that. Something like the iRig Pro, which will get you a little bit better audio quality, is going to plug into the headphone or through the charging cable. So obviously you can't charge it like we're doing here now if that's the case. Whoops, dropping things. So Apple has these, and I always recommend getting the Apple adapters. Those are the ones that are going to work for you. Has this Lightning to USB and a charge cable.
Yep.
I don't have this one plugged in, but when you get the iRig Pro, let's see if I can put that up there and see. That's what it'll look like, what you plug in. And you'll get two of these cables. One of these this is the Lightning one, and then there's one that has a USB as well. Well, if you take your iRig Pro and one of these little bad boys, you can plug from this connection here into your USB and then charge it, and it's going to work just fine like that. So that's how you're going to do that.
So, and again, that the white adapter is the Apple USB 3 camera kit or adapter, right?
Yes, yeah. It's really the camera kit adapter. I think they actually originally made these to like plug in USB drives and stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But the USB drives were taking too much power and you couldn't use them with them. So we use them for audio.
Yep.
That's what we're using now. Let me see. I think there was a couple other good questions here. Ezekiel asked, are we currently streaming in high or HD quality? This is HD quality here that I have set up. At least I'm about 95% sure. I might have changed at the last second. No, it's HD.
We're also using director mode, so there'll be a full HD
Can I get
version
you to sit back just a smidge so I get
uploaded on YouTube.
Perfect.
Is that later this week, or do we do that?
What's that?
When do we do the replay on YouTube?
It'll be up tomorrow.
Yeah,
Okay.
on Thursdays around usually about 2 or 3.
Just like Hulu, next day.
Someone was, I mentioned the Osmo earlier. We had the question, will there be integration of the DJI Osmo 4K and Phantom Switcher Studio? So I think like drones and if you want to talk
Sure.
on that.
So we do have a partnership with DJI, and we have a switcher-specific integration with the DJI Osmo Mobile. It's their handheld gimbal for getting steady walking shots that you mount your phone in. So as long as that phone is running Switcher Studio, you can pair it with the main app, and you can remotely control it. So you can tell that gimbal to go left, right, up, down from your main device. That does require an iPhone running Switcher Studio. DJI has handheld gimbals with an integrated camera. They have drones. There's other companies outside of DJI that are doing some cool stuff in the space. It's impossible for us to support everything that's out there, but we recently had a update for Switcher that includes iOS screen sharing that allows your entire display on your iPhone or iPad to be available as a source. So we were using that earlier in this broadcast to show the Twitter feed and the accessibility options. So if you're using another product and you can get a video preview on your phone, using that screen sharing function, it'll now be available in Switcher. So if you have a drone with its own app, you can grab the entire display and use it inside of your production. If you're using the 4K Osmo and you're using the native app to preview that video feed, you can share that entire screen. It's maybe not the best solution as far as having a clean video feed, because a lot of these apps will have controls and other things on the UI, but it does open up a tremendous amount of flexibility, and I think people are going to get really creative with this. So really excited to see what people do. We've seen it used for bringing up Instagram feeds. If you put in a hashtag and open the Instagram app, being able to show that on your broadcast, Twitter feeds, gaming and doing picture-in-picture and side-by-side views. I think there's a lot of possibilities with this integration, and could be a way to get in your drone or your gimbal or right. Other camera sources, as long as they have an app to go along with it. So Switcher Studio 3.5. Make sure all your devices are on the latest version of iOS. That's iOS 11.1, and that you have the most recent version of Switcher. And we've got some links that we can share out on how to do the iOS screen sharing.
Yeah, and just to clarify another question here, that's kind of with the screen sharing. Someone was saying, I want to be able to take live phone calls through Switcher Studio and be able to talk with guests in real time. So the screen sharing is only doing video right now. We're going to work on audio and get that in. We just figured get it out to everybody first. Don't wait. At least play around. You might be able to take like a headphone out of that phone and plug it into a mixer, an audio mixer, and get your audio into Switcher that way. Is another way. That's how people have been doing like Skype calls and things like that from right now, is they are connecting like a line out from their computer into a mixer like we have over here, and able to get audio in that way. I saw another question. I think Barry had a follow-up here about this and was asking about getting video out at the same time. I missed that part the first time.
Video out.
So we're trying to get audio through the Lightning port.
Okay.
and charge it and get HDMI out. I think that might be too much for the Lightning port.
And there's two different ways to get video out, so maybe that gives people a few options.
Yeah.
So with Switcher, you can use your iPhone or iPad to make video. You edit while you shoot, and that can either be recorded and uploaded later, or you can stream it to YouTube and Facebook, or just about anywhere else. But you can also do HDMI output or AirPlay. So using Apple's official adapter for Lightning to HDMI, you can output the entire display and the whole Switcher UI if you need a bigger screen to preview your cameras or your assets, or you can select to output just the program feed, so what your viewers would be seeing. And again, you can do that over the Lightning to HDMI with an adapter or via AirPlay. So if you have an Apple TV or you're running a desktop program like AirServer, you can actually output that video wirelessly to one of those units. So there's two different options there. If your Lightning port's tied up for audio and charging, it might be a little bit of a stretch to do HDMI out over it as well, although I think there are some users in the group that have used the USB splitters to be able to have more flexibility there. And if your port's already tied up, you may be able to do HDMI, well, not HDMI, do video output via AirPlay or Apple TV.
Awesome. I'll clarify one more, and we'll do one more question. I think we're going to be just about out of time at that point. But I saw a couple things asking about Android cameras. Right now we're iOS only, and that's because it's a closed ecosystem. We know all the codecs and like everything is.
It's going to work.
It's going to work, and entering in a whole bunch of other cameras and phone models and stuff it could cause things to mess up. There might be a point down the road. I don't have a timeline for when it'd be available, but there might be a point down the road where we'll be able to do a couple select phones for Android as remote cameras. But for right now, just iPhones, iPads, and other iOS devices. And then the last question I see someone saying is, can you stream to 2 pages at the same time? So I think that's not talking, can you stream to Facebook and YouTube, but can you stream to Facebook and Facebook?
Right.
I don't know if Angela or Nick, you all want to take that.
I'll take a jab at it, and
Sure.
if you want to jump in. So there are services that you can take video from Switcher and send to and syndicate to multiple Facebook pages or groups. Another way that you could do this, and really a way to kind of keep your audience all in one place, would be to select a page or a group to broadcast to and share that video to your other pages or platforms. So even if it's within Facebook, if you stream to your primary page and you want to share it on your personal page, all those views are going to be contributed to the same video. All the comments happen in the same place. So there's a big benefit to doing that workflow. But there are services, and there's information on our website and our knowledge base where you can take video from Switcher and stream to them and then push it to multiple places, whether that's different platforms or within Facebook itself. Did we get that right?
Yeah. I know, too, that we mentioned for streaming on different platforms at the same time are Restream.io and Switchboard.live. The last time we checked, Restream.io does not have support for streaming multiple places on the same platform, like 2 Facebook pages, but Switchboard Live does. It is a paid subscription for their program. It's one of their pro features, but they do have it where I think they give you up to 3, where you could, if you did need to stream to 2 pages at the same time for whatever reason, you could, get their subscription, set in the information for both pages, and they'll give you the RTMP information to put into Switcher. So that way you are live on both. What we always recommend is what Nick said, pick your main page and stream to that, and then share it other places so that you're keeping your main audience in that one spot. But if you do need to have 2 different pages, or if you just need multiple platforms, we do have websites that give support for that. And just send us an email at support@switcherstudio.com, and we'll be happy to walk you through that and help you get set up.
Awesome.
I think that's all the time we have. I saw there's a few other questions. Please keep those questions coming, and we'll get to as many as we can in the comments. But for right now, I think that's all the time we have.
Yeah. And let us know where you're from. Jump in the comments. Everybody
Oh yeah,
say,
we
hey.
got people. I saw people from all over. I saw. I think there's Peru. Was
Okay.
it there?
Nice.
I saw Las Vegas just came through.
Very cool.
Michigan, all over. So
Awesome. So like it, share it, and check us out, switcherstudio.com. If you have questions, let us know. We're here to help. We'll see you next week.
See ya.